Hello, 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 hello. It is turning green now. But it's going, the swelling is going down. It's getting a little bit better. I still have to take pain medicine, but not near as much as I had to in the beginning. So, I just saw a video of a lady who travels with her son and boyfriend and their dogs. They travel in a motorhome, and I forgot now. Paul, what's her name? The lady who travels in the motorhome?
Lydia.
Lydia is her name. Okay. And this talks on to the conversation we had in regards to and I agree. I totally
Simply
agree.
RVing. I think that's
Okay,
what
her name is Simply RVing, and her name is Lydia, and she has a son and a boyfriend, Mike. I forgot the name of the son, but they both have, I think, two dogs. Mike has a dog, Sober, and she has a dog. I don't know her dog's name. So, and they travel, and she makes wonderful videos of them swimming and diving in swimming pools and enjoying life, and that's how life should be lived. It should be lived in absolute pleasure. It should be lived without disharmony. It should be lived without negative thoughts, if possible, with a lot of humor and just love. Plain and simply, just pure love. And she doesn't have haters like I have. And so I was thinking about, this. It came to my mind, the contrast. So it, with like everything that you also mentioned, is like everything has to have a contrasting counterpoint in order to even see that this is different to that. So otherwise we would not know any difference between any of these mental states, or we wouldn't even know really that this is nice and this is not nice if we didn't have nerve endings and so on. So, and if we didn't have any kind of negative experiences, then we would take the positive experiences very much for granted, and that's what a lot of people do. And a lot of people, my brother and myself included, who grew up very sheltered, were thrown into life rather brutally once we had to, live our lives as adults. So, yeah, those are the contrasts. And so, what I see with Lydia is I see a strong contrast to myself. And I, I, I very much admire her and people like her, and also Lisa, my friend Lisa, and Izzy Davis. So all of these people who are free from that stuff that I have, that I have going, in my own personality. I have a very confrontational personality, and if that leaves me lonely, that's my business. That no one has to worry about that. So you guys worry about yourselves, your own lives. I I am only working on this for myself, not for someone else. I'm not making myself less confrontational just to please someone, or to get more compliments, or to appease people, or to have less haters. For that purpose, I will not do it, because I see myself as an educator, and I want to highlight things, and I cannot highlight things well if I have to be careful on how I word myself, or how I, have to circumscribe things to make it sound a little bit better, a little bit less negative, but that doesn't work. I have to say the things the way they are. Not worse and not better. I just say it the way it is, the way I perceive it, of course, I don't see it from an outside perspective. I don't see it from a wider angle, or as Esther Hicks calls it, from the vortex angle, or the wider perspective of the infinite universe. So obviously I am trapped in this existence here, and I see things from my eyes and from my lens and from my dark shaded sunglasses perspective. And also, of course, like Jiddu Krishnamurti and Dr. David Bohm and Dr. David Shainberg were discussing, that we see things out of our own mental images, which have been formed through recording that what we see. And even the word idea comes from seeing something on the outside of you. So idea, like the word I is in it, and viewing is in that. Viewing something outside. So idea, it sounds like a bottom-up experience, but it really started with a top-down, with a recording experience. So idea, or thoughts, or concepts, or understanding patterns in the brain are coming from that what we have perceived, that what we have experienced from our perspective throughout our lives. So, and in that sense, we will never be free from a subjective experience. And no one is. No one. Jiddu Krishnamurti was also not free from that. He was more aware about all of this. And in this very heightened awareness state, he was not easily tricked by his own mental recordings. I hope this explains it somehow. I don't know how else to word it, So I try to rephrase it, and also to get a grip on it for myself. I make these videos also for myself. It's for me, it's very therapeutic to make videos. It also makes me feel like maybe I'm helping a little bit. Maybe I am clarifying something for other people as well, and maybe I can inspire some people to get into this material a little bit deeper and to question more. The whole thing is, the whole key to education, in my view, is to inspire other people to question things, and not to say, here is this or this concept, here's this or this research paper, here's this or this religion, or here is this or that guru who said this or that, and use that as a template or something. But to say, this is what he said, this is what he said, this is what they said, let's compare, and let's get into it, and let's find out whether that resonates with each person. Let's talk about it. Let's investigate it. As Jiddu always said, investigate together. Like get into it. Not be so quick to say, oh yeah, I agree, or oh no, I disagree. I mean, we can disagree or agree, that's all cool. But we have to never forget to keep in mind that we are investigating, that we are not coming to real quick conclusions or judgments about this or that person, situation, concept, and so on. So, yeah, this is how it works. All right. This is a beautiful brain here. Very beautiful brain. So, okay, maybe later. Thank you, Paul. So my husband is my nurse. He's always cooking for me, always taking care of me. Very sweet. Always going shopping while the other stays with baby. And this is our lifestyle. And if, everyone chooses their own lifestyle and their own decisions that they make, Other people, they choose to have children, and I chose not to have children. I chose dogs instead. To me, dogs are better. Okay, this is my decision, this is my view on it, and this should be left alone and should be accepted and tolerated. At least tolerated, as that what it is. It is the way it is. This is how I live, this is how I view it. Okay. Other people can view it differently. Okay. I have no problem with that at all. I don't judge anyone for having children. I'm not shaming anyone. I'm not looking down on anyone. I have my opinions about certain religions and stuff, But I ultimately, when I meet people, I leave them. This is how they are. This is how they want to live their lives. I live my life the way I want to, and there can be harmony between people. Absolutely. Absolutely true. We can just accept one another as that what we are, and not try to convert someone into becoming religious or becoming a disciple or becoming this or that. If we all meet on eye level, we can listen to each other without a concept, at least try to get into it, to get into listening without a concept or some kind of idea about the other person, some kind of image that we project or that we form around the other person, or around that what the other person can do for the other. So look at each other in terms of, okay, what does she or he have to say about this concept? Let me take it in, with an open mind, and then come to my own conclusions at the end of the day. And that's how it should be conducted, in my view. And for that, I am so infinitely grateful to Jiddu Krishnamurti and all these wonderful people who had these amazing discussions with him, and this exploring into the depths of existence. So fantastic is that. That is so fantastic. And so regarding, there are so many subjects I wanted to touch on, but I want to start with the development of artificial general intelligence. To me personally, this is the salvation. It is, according to Dr. Ray Kurzweil, the first prototypes are going to be built in 2029, according to his system analytical computer who has calculated this development, okay, according to Moore's law. So Moore's law is a calculation of a faster and faster acceleration. That means it starts very, 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 very slow, where people think, oh, this is, because they think linear, they think, so this will never happen in the next thousands of years. But once it takes on a steeper curve, it's kind of like this, the graph. First it's almost not visible, and then it goes all the way up like this. And so according to this extrapolation, in 2029 this level has been reached. And I believe it, I totally believe it, because he's predicted other things of technological development that have actually come true. So, 2029, it is quite a while still, in light of the situation that we have right now on planet Earth, which is, to me, it's almost like a rat race between the development of radical religions, particularly radical Islam. No one wants to address that issue. Very few people want to address that issue, and the ones who do get terribly threatened and hated. And that's why many people don't want to talk about it. And then we are slowly but steadily and at a faster acceleration, slithering also into another Hitler regime, into another Kim Jong-un, Mussolini type of situation. Slowly, gradually, and in exponential curve. Okay. So, and it is happening right now. We can see it. If we are honest to ourselves, we see what's happening. Even though the news are often suppressed in this regard, but we see what is happening. And I don't care whether the escalating oppression is coming from a Muslim, or from an Adolf Hitler, or from a Kim Jong-un, or Mussolini, or Stalin, or any, it wouldn't matter. It could be a Martian, it could be a Venusian. I don't care who the dictator is. I do not want dictatorship. I hope that other people really see it that way too, because looking back on history, we see very clearly dictatorship does not lead to anything good. Okay? And as Jonathan Mises said, it wouldn't matter who it is. Humans cannot be dictators, because when humans have a dictational oppression system in place, only horrible things come out of it. Suffering on such a drastic scale that is just unimaginable. Okay? And that is what we want to reduce. We don't want to escalate this anymore. Right? And that's why I say, don't accept this. Don't accept a development like this. Be critical. And I don't think that if you belong to, that's just my view on it. I'm voicing, my opinion. I'm practicing my freedom of speech here. I'm not judging. I'm just saying this is how I view the situation. If you belong to a religion, you do not think for yourself. You cannot think for yourself. You will always go by what has Jesus or Muhammad or whatever their names are, or Buddha, or whatever is there, whatever kind of scriptures, what have they said, and then I have to mold myself to that. That is not how real progressive thinking works. Real progressive thinking is exploring, investigating together, investigating on eye level what the original meaning of religion is. Religio, bringing together bringing all the information onto the table. And that's what I learned in school, what the original meaning of the Machiavelli meetings meant in Italy. People were supposed to bring their experiences all in the evening together and put them on the table and discuss it so that everyone in the group can learn from it. Yeah. Later, Machiavellian system has become something negative because then something has taken advantage of that and has suppressed others, and it became political corruption. But just like religion has taken such a drastic turn into the opposite as well. So religio, we bring together, we learn from each other. So later on, religio became one person dominating everyone else. That is not free thinking. That is living in a template, living in a prison. It's a mental prison. You know? It is not freedom. And it can range from just not being free to all the way to living under horrendous circumstances, like the women in the Middle East. You know. So anything, or in North Korea, the people in that prison camp. You know. So it could take on any of those proportions, and that's the kind of suffering I am talking about. I'm talking about the factory farms, the suffering in factory farms, or in prison camps around the world, where there are oppressive regimes. You know. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about my dental pain, you know, although that was pissing me off because the guy obviously had an attitude. Okay? Not even talking about being beaten by Javad. I just mentioned that because it's the dental stuff triggered all that shit, you know. Or I'm not even talking about being abused as a child or sexually molested and stuff like that. I'm talking about the real, but this is all major, but I'm talking about the real major things that are right in our face. Factory farm suffering, you know. Animals held in small crates where they can't turn around, you know, extreme torture. You know. That is also done. Things in that matter are also done to humans, and I am talking about this type of suffering, okay, that we can absolutely reduce. Okay, there is no excuse for this type of suffering, but the only way we will get there is if we strive towards becoming compassionate, becoming open-minded, and meeting other people on eye level. Not playing the guru, not playing the messiah or the minister or whatever, but meeting other people on eye level and finding out together what can we do to make the situation better, to free the animals from the slaughterhouses and from the slaughter facilities, from the torture chambers, and the people, the prisoners, and the oppressed people around the world, and so on. So, what can we do? How can we need to find out, and we need to do something about it. We cannot be just holding the other cheek, look the other way, you know. We don't have the luxury for this. That's why I make videos, that's why I try to get people involved, try to get people to get engaged with this. It will also empower you. It will make you feel better about yourselves. If you if you give this a chance, this development in yourselves, you know, I think that will develop the compassion center in the brain more than anything else. Religion will not develop your compassion centers. Religion will do the opposite. Religion is an oppressive system, and it is no different to any other group out there, whether it is religious or non-religious in nature, any other group who gets their governmental grants and who gets their own group proliferation and corporatism going. That is the opposite of what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is to become yourself and to do whatever you can, free from religion, whatever you can to find solutions to make the world become a better place for all and to eliminate suffering as much as we can. I am not a utopian. I know that we suffer, that is the earthian experience. We're suffering, of course. I am not even talking about that. I am talking about elimination of suffering on this drastic and wide scales. That we can absolutely do, okay? It is doable. So become your own people and free yourselves from religion. Think for yourselves. Meet other people on eye level. Put yourselves in other people's shoes. Try to imagine, how does this animal, this bear, this lion, this dog, giraffe, and so on, or this little child, how do they feel in this situation? Okay, you guys take care. Bye-bye.